Hey everyone, how's it going? Let's get right into it. The market is interesting, and as if you guys been following me and following my videos, and I've been talking about the S&P 500, a couple of things that I have mentioned is this bear flag pen that's showing up here. It could be ready to break down any moment now. So looking at the S&P 500, the key level that I pointed out in my previous videos is this level that's highlighted, which is the 395 level. If this level breaks down here with this trend line, we're gonna see a nice correction to the downside, possibly towards 376 to 368. But we'll wait and see what happens here. If we look at the smaller time frames here, you can see this is a nice area of consolidation for the S&P 500. Failed to get above. Now it's back into this previous consolidation zone, which it broke through today. I am looking for a retest to the upside around 398 in the coming days, and then a further breakdown. If this meltdown continues, it'll be a good indication that we're going to break below this trend line and get right back down to this zone right here, which is 376 and 368. But the key factor to note is even on this downside, if we look at the volume is not increasing. It's kind of flatlining a little bit. So that's something I also want to pay attention to here. We are getting towards end of year. End of years, there's usually tax loss selling, but we've had such a bad year in stocks. That may not be the case at all. There might be a rotational sell. People going from, like, if they profited from bonds, they might be going towards equities, something like that. So that's something that we want to keep an eye on. What will happen? Usually, tax loss selling is a thing that happened towards the end of the year, but we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens here. All right, but for now, that's the levels we want to keep our eye on. If it has broken the 395 level here, it's right below it. So we want to see what tomorrow brings, but the volume is my key indicator. The volume is not lining up with the price action to the downside, right? So that's something that we want to keep an eye on and stay focused on. And also, this previous area was a big sell area, and it's still holding up as a sell area here. We want to see where the selling stops and kind of have a direction coming up. Okay, so but for now, we'll just kind of watch SPY right now. But this is a good area to take a short position if you want to. Put your stop loss tight at 398 and see where it goes. Once again, that's not advice, but this would be a good area right about here just to see kind of where SPY goes from here. Stop loss would be right around the 398 mark. Okay, that's on SPY. But triple Q, let's have a look here. Uh, Triple Q is interesting. It did try to make a high, but unfortunately going nowhere. The declining volume on this move. But the key area is this area right here. On the downside, if we break below 270, we're gonna go all the way down to 255-ish, and that's something that we want to keep our eye on to see what happens in this market. If we look at the 3-hour time frame, this is telling us that the market consolidated, rejected this level again, back down to test this important support zone. If this breaks at 280, we're going to easily go back down and test 270 very, very easily. But as you guys can see, this whole area for triple Q right here, it's been very, very volatile. So we'll need to pay attention to the Fed, the comments that they make. The interest rate decision can really drive triple Q a lot lower. Looking at the Dow Jones, and I did mention Dow Jones. This is my important area here. It is breaking down below it, but it's not really substantially broken down. But it's the volume is not really that aggressive on the Dow either. That's something that we want to focus on. It is very flat, but this is a big move. This was a vertical move. We'll see a retracement sometime. We'll see a retracement and a pause soon. But right now, what I'm seeing through Dow is also a short position move here. Possibly, enter a position if you're here. Put your stop loss about 341 to 342, and then just this is your target zone, right? And just take profits as you wish. But once again, this is not financial advice. Do your own research before you take any kind of long or short positions. But this is what I'm seeing based on technicals. This was too much of a vertical move to the upside. Okay, so this is something that we want to keep our eye on and to see what happens from here. IWM. Okay, IWM is a big mover here, to the upside. But once again, this looks like a bear flag that is breaking down here, right? So this was a double top, so this support zone held up very nicely. But this bear flag, this trend line has been broken down. Support zone is starting to break here. But I will wait until the 177 break and take a short position to 170, then to 165, right? So this trend line is still holding. And the other thing with IWM and the rest of the indexes, the volume is not picking up, so I got to be careful of that. Usually, when the market is down, the yields are up. Today, the yields are down as well, so that is something that's interesting to note. But the VIX is up, so we'll see what happens here. But so far, the market is very, very uncertain and does not know which way it wants to go. It is breaking down to the downside, but the volume and the participation is not really there. So that could mean one or two things: that public participation has slowed down drastically over the course of the last few months and people are running out of money, or people just don't feel confident taking any kind of directional plays. So we'll see what happens here. The gold, we want to keep an eye on this. Gold is consolidating in the zone on a bigger time frame, still holding up in this position really, really well. Even if we get a pull down to 155, 160 zone, we'll be okay. But I want to see a breakout of this of 172 level to push back up to 182. It is still in the cup and handle formation on a bigger time frame, so this is something that we want to keep an eye on. VIX, we've been watching the VIX. I did emphasize on the fact that we can get a bounce from here. Every time it's tested these levels, it has bounced back up. So look at this. It's bouncing up today, but we'll watch the VIX over the next couple of days just to kind of see what it does. If it gets back above this trend line, it could be a problem for the market and problem for anyone that's holding any long positions. And if you look at any of the sectors here, you got XEM, XLU, XLP. All the sectors are very, very they're very down today and they're all red. So when something is all green or all red, I don't like it. I need some sort of some sort of rotation to happen. Like energy or oil should be up today, but they're not. They're also down. Everything's down today, so that is a big, big warning sign that the overall participation is starting to decrease, and the biggest losses today have come in sector wise have come from oil and gas and energy sectors, right? So they're down quite a bit. If we're looking at this is oil and gas down quite a bit. Looking at energy, it's starting to break down here. If we look at the monthly trend, this could be a triple top for energy here, and it could break down here. So that's something we want to see. Okay, that's it for me from today. If you guys enjoyed the segment, I appreciate it. If you guys can like and subscribe to the channel. See you guys tomorrow.